I still remember the first time I met Daniel. It was at my cousin's wedding. The hall was full of music, laughter, and people dressed in bright colors. I was standing by the drinks table, holding a glass of Chapman, when I felt someone tap my shoulder. "Beautiful day for a wedding," he said, with a smile so warm it almost melted my heart. I smiled politely. "It is." That was the beginning. Daniel was charming, confident, and full of attention. He made me feel like the most important person in the room. He asked for my number, and before the night ended, I already had 2 missed calls and a text that said, "I can't wait to see you again." At that moment, I felt lucky. We started talking every day. He always complimented me. He always wanted to know where I was, what I was doing, and who I was with. At first, I thought it was sweet. I thought, wow, someone actually cares this much. But looking back now, I realize it wasn't care. It was control. The first red flag came 2 weeks after we started dating. I was out with my friend Kioma at a small cafe. Daniel called, and when I told him I was with Kioma, his tone changed. "Why didn't you tell me you were going out?" he asked sharply. I didn't think I had to. It was just a quick lunch." "Well, I need to know these things," he replied. "I worry about you. You can't just be walking around without telling me." I laughed nervously and apologized. Kioma raised her eyebrow at me. She said. "Are you sure this guy is okay?" I brushed it off. "He's just protective. It's fine." Over time, more red flags came, but I ignored them all. He didn't like my friends. He said my dresses were too revealing. He didn't like the way I spoke to male colleagues. At work, every time someone tried to warn me, I defended him. "You don't know him like I do," I would say. "He's just misunderstood." When my parents met him, they were polite but quiet afterward. My mother pulled me aside. "My daughter, are you sure about this man? Something about him doesn't sit right with me, Mama, please," I said, a bit irritated. "You're overthinking it. He loves me." Against everyone's advice, I married him. And that's when the real Daniel showed up. At first, it was small things. "Quit your job," he said one evening after work. "You don't need to stress yourself. I'll take care of you." I hesitated. "But I love my job." "You love your job more than you love me?" he asked, his eyes narrowing. And just like that, I resigned. Then the money problem started. I had to beg him for money to buy even the smallest things: food, soap, toothpaste. He always gave just enough, never more. One day, I asked him for money to make my hair. "Your hair is fine," he said without looking at me, "but it's rough, so you're not going anywhere important. Stop trying to look good for other people." Weeks passed. My hair became untidy. My clothes faded. I started avoiding mirrors because I didn't like what I saw. He cut me off from my friends and family. He said they were bad influences. He took my phone one day, saying I didn't need it. And just like that, my world became smaller and darker. Months passed. I became a shadow of myself. I stopped smiling. I stopped dreaming. One day, Daniel insulted me for smelling bad. I wanted to cry. I wanted to scream. But I didn't. I just sat there, quiet, because I was too tired to fight. Then, one afternoon, everything changed. I was at the market, buying vegetables, when I heard a familiar voice call my name. Amaka. I turned, and there she was, my best friend from the university. Ada. She froze when she saw me. "Oh my God, Amaka, what happened to you?" I felt my face burn with shame. My hair was rough. My clothes were worn. I looked nothing like the girl she knew. We stood there for a while, just looking at each other. Then she pulled me into a hug. "I can help you," she whispered. That day, we sat in a corner of the market. away from prying eyes, and I told her everything. She listened, her face growing darker with every word. "Amaka, you can't live like this," she said. "We need to get you out." I looked around nervously. "If Daniel finds out, he won't," she assured me. "We'll meet here every week. Same spot. I'll help you escape." I didn't have a phone. I didn't have money. But for the first time in years, I had hope. The week after meeting Ada, I felt something I hadn't felt in years. Hope. It was small, quiet, hidden deep inside me, but it was there. Every day I counted down to market day. It became the one day I looked forward to. Daniel didn't notice anything at first. He still barked orders. He still complained about how lazy I was. He still gave me just enough money for food. But in my heart, I carried a secret. When market day came, I wore my plain wrapper and simple blouse, like always. Daniel liked me looking humble. I walked to the market, my basket on my arm, my heart racing. I found Ada waiting at our usual spot. She had a small bag in her hand. "I brought you some clothes," she whispered. Inside were simple outfits: jeans, t-shirts, and a headscarf. Tears filled my eyes. I didn't even remember the last time I wore jeans. For weeks, we met in the market, always careful, always watching. Ada told me about a friend of hers who lived in another city and ran a women's shelter. "She'll take you in," Ada said. "But we have to plan carefully." At home, I stayed quiet. I didn't want Daniel to suspect anything. Sometimes he would look at me suspiciously. "Why are you smiling?" he asked one evening. "I'm not," I said quickly, turning away. One week, Ada brought a second-hand phone. "It's not fancy, but it works," she said. "Keep it hidden." I swallowed hard. "If he finds it, he won't," Ada said firmly. "Keep it in your basket. Charge it at the market. Don't use it at home unless you have to." It felt risky, but I agreed. The plan was set. On the last market day of the month, I would leave with Ada. She would have a taxi waiting. We wouldn't go back to my house. Everything I needed was already packed in a hidden bag. The night before, I barely slept. I kept hearing Daniel's voice in my head. I kept seeing his angry face. But I also kept seeing Ada's smile and the promise of freedom. The morning came. Daniel gave me the usual small amount of money for food. "Don't waste my money," he warned. "I won't," I replied, my voice calm. My hands trembled as I walked to the market. Ada was already there. "You ready?" she asked. My legs felt weak, but I nodded. We walked through the market like it was any other day. Then we turned a corner, away from the usual stalls, and there it was. A small taxi waiting. I climbed in, my heart pounding. For a moment, I thought I heard Daniel's voice in the crowd. I froze. Ada touched my arm. "Don't look back." The driver started the engine, and just like that, I was gone. The women's shelter was quiet, safe. For the first time in years, I slept without fear. I got a job helping at a small shop. I saved money. Ada helped me contact a lawyer. Months later, I filed for divorce. Daniel didn't take it well. He tried to call me names in court. He tried to make me look bad. But the evidence of his controlling behavior was clear. The day the divorce was finalized, I walked out of the courthouse feeling like I could breathe again. Life wasn't perfect immediately. Healing takes time, but I began to smile again. I reconnected with my family. I learned to take care of myself. And one day, I looked in the mirror and saw myself again. The woman Daniel tried to erase. Standing strong. When people show you who they are, believe them the first time. Red flags are not decorations. They are warnings. No love is worth losing yourself for. You are worthy of love, respect, and freedom.